You know what they say, he who laughs last laughs hardest. Hashtag stay hungry. This is Anthony Joshua's, or one of his most recent social media video posts. Shadow boxing here. Shadow boxing. Trying to stay in the center of the ring. Keeping his feet a certain distance apart. Trying to maintain his balance. And what this particular drill aims to do is get the fighter in the habit of moving in a circular motion around the ring rather than moving backwards in straight lines. Now, I see some people say, oh my God, so-and-so moved back in a straight line, that's terrible. Boxing is not as black and white as that. There are times when you should be moving back in straight lines. There are times when moving side to side on a particular opponent in a particular situation is not the best thing to do. Yeah, every move is not going to work against every opponent. So in some situations, moving back in a straight line is the best thing to do. In other situations, stepping off to the side is a better thing to do. And that's where boxing IQ comes into it, because it's knowing when to move in what direction, in what situation. That's what boxing IQ is, being able to read a situation and assess a situation in a split second and say, okay, in this situation, I don't need to move back in a straight line. He's going to catch me, or he's going to pin me down, or I'm becoming too predictable doing it like this. I need to slide off to the side. I need to, roll my shoulder or duck under the shot or block a shot or, move laterally or maybe come in and clinch him. You need to, have the ring IQ, the intelligence to know what move to make at what particular time against what opponent and in what circumstances. Okay. But what Anthony Joshua is practicing here, like I say, is moving around and moving, laterally rather than moving backwards. That's what this drill is all about. And obviously he's trying to keep his feet a similar distance apart at all times, maintaining his balance, keeping his hands up, making sure he's always in position to punch. I did mention in my video analysis, okay, which I did on Daily Motion, not on YouTube. If you want to watch my video analysis of AJ Ruiz, go to my Facebook boxing group. It's pinned to the top of the group. Yeah, you'll see part 1. And then if you look in the comment section, you can also find part 2, okay, of the Daily Motion video analysis. And one of the things I pointed out is that when Anthony Joshua has his hands up against Andy Ruiz, Ruiz tends to attack him more. But when Anthony Joshua had his left hand low, Ruiz was more cautious. And I explained why in that video. Yeah. And Adam Booth, even in a recent interview, said that one of the things that him and David Haye created a bond around early on when Adam Booth was a trainer at Fitzroy Lodge and David Haye was a young teenage amateur, is when Adam Booth used to box, he used to fight with his left hand low. And he always used to hear trainers telling him, stop showing off, stop trying to be flash, get your hands up. And David Haye used to hear the same things. So when Adam Booth started training David Haye, when Haye was just a young teenager at Fitzroy Lodge, they kind of clicked and connected because when they were on the pads, they had a mutual understanding that having your left hand low can actually be effective in many instances, depending on what kind of fighter you are. And Adam Booth will understand exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Is when you have your left hand low, in certain situations, it can actually discourage your opponent from throwing punches because they can't see where your left hand is and see where your right hand is at the same time. They can only concentrate on one hand or the other hand. Okay? And so, and you can also bring the left hand up and walk people onto jabs, which come from outside of their peripheral vision. So you can find in some instances with a low left hand, you're able to land jabs more easily. Yeah. Now, all the training footage I've seen of AJ since his loss to Ruiz, he has got his hands up constantly. There's no more low left hand. I personally think that's a mistake. I know this sounds counterintuitive. I think it's a mistake because he wasn't getting caught because of a low left hand in the first fight. No, he wasn't. He was actually getting caught more when his hands were up. Ruiz was more confident in throwing punches when he saw AJ's hands were up. And again, I go into depth in explaining why that is in that particular video. Yeah. So to me, I'm not so sure about the hands up situation for AJ. You know, in this fight, the low left hand might actually help him. But I know they're trying to cover all bases and be extra careful for the rematch. So I can understand why they're trying to take this precaution. But I don't know if it's the best way to go about it. And, you know, the footwork, not moving back in straight lines, trying to keep his balance and all this kind of business. It's all good. It's all good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this video here. Anthony Joshua back in training and other training videos you've seen of his. Again, people work on different things in different training drills. So don't be so reactionary to see somebody, you know, doing one thing in one training drill and then, oh my God, you know, you can't move back in straight lines. That's no good. It's one flipping training drill. You know, sometimes you need to move back in straight lines. Yeah. But with regards to him keeping his hands up, in every single training video I've seen of AJ's since his loss to Ruiz, he's got his hands up. You know, and yeah. Again, for a more in-depth explanation as to why keeping his hands up against Ruiz in a rematch, and I'm not saying he should never keep his hands up. When Ruiz gets him close to the ropes or, you know, they're at mid-range or anything like that, he absolutely needs to have his hands up. But at long range, I think AJ is actually better with his hands down against Ruiz or his left hand down, not his right hand. His right hand should stay up, you know, there to block any left hooks. But his left hand should probably stay down, to be honest. Ruiz is not that dangerous at long range with the right hand over the top. He's really not. So, yeah, watch that video if you want a more in-depth explanation. Let me know what you guys feel in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.